I just find that when I'm dancing, I'm just free and don't think about much anything else. It's really an expression that I feel meets all my needs as far as physical, emotional, and spiritual. I think what people gain from being involved in dance is a better body awareness, knowing their body, getting to know how their particular body moves, and also the fact that the technique behind certain dance styles is very demanding and asks for the individual to challenge themselves.
Straight back, more of a straight back, yeah. Two, again, one more time. Keep this, right there, boom. No, hit right there, there you are. Two, that's it, and through, easy up. Find your placement and finish.
Paul Noel Fiorino, dancer, educator, athlete. In his 28 years, he's commanded stages across the United States and worldwide, from New York to Israel to South America. But his strong ties to the Rocky Mountain region have spurred repeat performances in Colorado and Wyoming.
And 3, and 4, and on.
While growing up in Colorado, he developed an active interest in sports.
I was really a very involved athlete, especially in junior high. I mean, just come 7th grade, you know, the junior high had a very good team, and for football, which I loved to run the football. Wrestling was another experience. I wrestled because my brother was a wrestler, and I got involved in with wrestling, finding out what it's like to get pinned. But it's football where we scrimmage. The sophomores scrimmaged the seniors, you know. And that was just, I just found I was just a little too small for that type of situation. And so the next thing I did, I ended up going to the drama department, playing in Man of La Mancha and various View from the Bridge, various plays. And there were auditions for Fiddler on the Roof. And I wanted to learn how to do the Russian kick dance. Prislaska, I think it's what it's called, but I mentioned it to my mom, and she had an appointment the next day for us to go into Denver. And sure enough, we drive up in front of the Denver Ballet Academy, which is downtown 2nd and Broadway at the time. And I walked into the place hearing piano music and, you know, smelling the sweat. And, you know, it was just like I was wondering what was going on here. And sure enough, the ballet teacher brought me in, sat me down, and I was watching this class of guys and gals. And it was probably Denver, the ballet was at its highest point at that time, really, because they used to bring in ABT, American Ballet Theater, every year. And after the class, he just asked me, you know, what I thought, and I said, well, it's very interesting, but you know, and he says, well, okay, go get yourself some tights and shirt, shoes, and dance belt, and we'll see you tomorrow. You got a scholarship.
Several scholarships followed, to Banff, Canada, then to Jacobs Pillow University of Dance in Massachusetts, and the Joffrey American Ballet Center.
Well, as far as going to the East Coast, it's something that, when I got started with dancing, it seemed like that was the thing to do. You know, it was get yourself ready, get yourself to a place where you can go to New York and start auditioning and you know, being at a level of expertise or, you know, dance training anyway, to compete in that atmosphere of New York. Because there are an awful lot of dancers, an awful lot of companies, an awful lot of activity in the arts going on. I was hungry for that competition. I wanted to find out what it was all about. I was intimidated by it. And I knew that was just one of the things I needed to do. And I found that it was really pretty high tension, and I had to just be really on top of it. You know, go in with an attitude of performance, even in class. No matter where you go to class, you still, you know, were looked upon by every dancer in the place, and analyzed and criticized or whatever, you know. So you still had to be your best, and I felt being a representative from out west too, you know, I just wanted to be sure I had the right training and the right background to be able to put up with that. So I went to the Joffrey School, and it turned out that they were looking for, they were putting on their big production city center of Petrushka, and they were looking for a juggler. And I just so happened to learn how to juggle just because I was at a summer camp, and the dancer told me, listen, if you learn how to juggle, there's a possibility that this might happen. Sure enough, it did happen, and I got on stage with the Joffrey Ballet juggling for the season. And going to Israel was an opportunity that gave me a chance to get out of New York, for one thing, but to join a company as a soloist, to where I know I was going to be dancing a lot. When I got over there, which was in June of '76, I was, it was, of course, cultural shock. You know, being that here I was coming into a desert land that you can see army trucks all over the place, and guns and tanks, and you know, it was just, it seemed a way of life for them. It turned out that we did continue performing in the kibbutz, which are these communities, social communities, and which have beautiful theaters, by the way. You know, they just really had facilities that were top-notch. And as far as performing, I just found that there was no way that we were going to be dealing with the standard of living the way it went, because it went up 60% in the 4 months I'd already been there, and I just couldn't get a raise. I couldn't get a working permit, for one thing, because of I'm not Jewish, but they just said, you know, it's time to go, you know, you've had your stay, and you know, but I have a strong love for that country and feeling for it, and ended up having to leave at the end of December. So I kind of got the company together in a unionized situation, because I was starting to realize about dancers' rights now. I had touched on them a little bit in New York, realizing that there was a union, but when I saw how, you know, companies can take advantage of dancers, then I got somewhat of an organization started, and then left the country. Actually made an escape, you know, from the country, because I was not released from my contract. But as far as that, I realized that, okay, you know, you hear about being blackballed, and that, you know, people won't hire you after you do something like that. And I decided, well, I guess I'm meant to be a freelance if that's the case. So sure enough, I came back home to Denver, did a concert that I called a recital, really, for the Denver community. Free concert. I invited everybody and their brother.